Okay, good afternoon all. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you, Mosa. Okay, so in the last class, actually, whatever I have discussed, just I'm summarizing, then I'll start my today's topic. So in the last class, I have taken two classes already. So in the first class, I have discussed what is the number system and why do we say that the set of complex numbers is a universal number system, and how we can interpret that number system from starting from the natural numbers. After that, I have discussed a few definitions which will be required for you to study function of complex variable. So namely, what do you mean by the limit point? Then what is open set? What is closed set? What is connected set? What is domain? And I have discussed the application of Euler's theorem to find out the roots of equation, roots are complex actually. So all these things I have discussed. So today I'll start my main topic, that is the function of complex variable and how we can define a function of complex variable and what is the significance of function of complex variable. Then I'll be discussing whatever we discuss actually in different calculuses. Whenever you have studied calculus of one variable, one real variable, calculus of two real variables. So here also in the function of complex variable, we will be discussing in the same way. We'll be discussing limit, continuities, differentiability, the integral calculus. All these things we'll be discussing here gradually. So I didn't share the note because the first PPT which I am discussing here contains uh, 40 more slides. So I have discussed already two classes. I have discussed few things. So by after today or after discussing few more things, I'll be sharing the lecture note in the Google Classroom. In the meanwhile, you can follow the ebooks which I have shared. I have already shared 3 ebooks. You can follow those ebooks also to get the ideas about different topics which I am discussing in the class. Okay, so let me share my screen. Uh, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all these things I have discussed, limit points, open set, closed set, neighborhood of a point, all these things I have discussed and applications of Euler's theorems. So today I'll discuss complex valued complex function. So before discussing complex valued complex function, so first whenever I'll discuss the function of complex variable, I'll discuss it in comparing it with your prior knowledges. That means the function of one real variable, function of two real variables, so that you can get ideas about the new topics with your previous knowledge. You can correlate this with your previous knowledge. So for that, just let me write here. Can you see the blank screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So while we have studied function of one real variable, what does it mean? What do you mean by function? So function means function of one real variable. So we are discussing function of one real variable. So what does it mean? That means we are considering a set A, that is a subset of set of real number, and we are defining this function or mapping from A to R, namely defined by fx equals to y. So that means we are taking a set A and lots of elements are there in A. A can be a finite set or infinite set, and each and every element of A is mapped to some real numbers. So here A is the subset of real numbers. So each and every element should have some definition in the set of real numbers, and f is actually the action that actually provides the definition corresponding to each and every point that we are considering here on A. So A is called here as domain, and here R is called the set of real numbers is called as the codomain. Now entire set of real numbers can be involved here to provide the definition of each and every point which we are considering in the domain. Otherwise, some subset of R can cater that criteria. That means cater that need. That means some subset of R can provide us all the definitions corresponding to each and every point which we are considering in the set A. So then this is called as the range. All of you are familiar with that. So this is called function of one real variable because there is one independent variable. This is called the independent variable, and the functional value which we are obtaining by virtue of that given function is called as the dependent variable. So here, since the number of independent variable is 1 and we are getting the value of y by taking different values of the independent variable x, and by virtue of that function, that's why it is called as the function of one real variable. Similarly, in the first semester you have studied function of two or more real variables. So mainly you have studied function of two real variables. That means in that case we are considering two independent variables. So there we are taking a subset R, which is nothing but the subset of R2. R2 means set of two-dimensional real number to R, namely defined as f of xy equals to z. So that means what we are doing here, we are picking up a point in two-dimensional real plane. So two-dimensional real plane is denoted as R2. You know, you have studied in vector space. So two-dimensional real space is denoted as R2. So what we are doing, we are choosing a point from a two-dimensional real plane. That means A is a subset, this is a two-dimensional plane. So we are taking some collection of points from this two-dimensional plane, that is subset A. That means A is the collection of all two-dimensional points. So two-dimensional point must have abscissa and ordinate, you know. So here the number of independent variables are 2. They are independent variable, and depending on the independent variable I am getting a real number. So this is a real number or dependent variable z. So namely if I define f xy equals to x square plus y square. So let's say we are taking a point say 1 0, for that we are getting the value 1. We are taking say value 2 2, we are getting the value 8. So each and every point xy is mapped to some point z. So here this function actually is a function of two variables, because number of independent variables are 2, and dependent of that two independent variable we are getting the value of the dependent variable, and in that case number of independent variable is 1. So that's why this is function of one real variable. Now similarly, while we will define the function of complex variable, so we will be considering a subset of set of complex numbers, and we will define this function to a set of complex numbers. So while we will study the function of complex variable, there are two kinds of functions. One is the complex valued complex function, and there is the real valued complex function. So here we need to study two kinds of functions of complex variable. One is complex valued complex function, and is the real valued complex function. So here I have discussed the complex valued complex function. So here we will be considering a domain. Here D is a subset of set of real numbers, because you know that while we are choosing any subset of set of complex number, this is a two-dimensional points, because you know any complex number can be represented as a two-dimensional point in the Argand plane. So here the mapping will be defined from D to set of complex number, where D is the domain, that is nothing but a subset of set of complex numbers. So complex valued complex function is defined as fz equals to w. So here z and w both are complex number. That means I am taking a subset of set of complex number D, and the function maps each and every point of this D to some set of to some complex numbers. So this is denoted by fz equals to w. So what does it mean actually? So complex valued complex function means the domain, this is the domain. Domain is a subset of set of complex numbers, and codomain is also a set of complex numbers C. So this is denoted as fz equals to w. What does it mean? So here, since independent variable z is a complex number and dependent variable w is also a complex number, so that's why here z can be considered as x plus iy, since z is a complex number. So x is the real part of z and y is the imaginary part of z. Similarly, w is another complex number, which is actually the value corresponding to the value z, which we are obtaining by virtue of that function f. So w has components u plus iv. That means the real part of w is u and imaginary part of w is v. So this can be written in the form of u plus iv. Okay. So instead of this, we can write this here at f of xy equals to w equals to uv, because you know that any complex number, in the first class I have told, any complex number either can be written in the form of its real part and imaginary part, or any complex number can be written as the ordered pair. Ordered pair means in the form of a point, where this first component represents the real part of that complex number z, and the second component represents the imaginary part of that complex number. Similarly, since w is here the definition or the dependent variable which you are obtaining corresponding to the value z by virtue of that function, so w must have two components, one is u, another is v. So u is the real part of w and v is the imaginary part of w. So instead of writing down z in that form, instead of writing down w in that form, we can write down this in the form of the order pair. That means f of xy equals to u comma v. So example is w equals to fz equals to z to the power 4. That means by virtue of that function, a complex number z is mapped to z to the power 4. Now this z to the power 4 is actually a complex number. Why? Because if I put the value z equals to x plus iy, then we can expand this by virtue of the binomial expansion. You know that if I expand a function, I expand a expression x plus y whole to the power n, then in the expansion I will be getting n plus 1 number of terms, namely x to the power n plus nc1, x to the power n minus 1 y plus nc2, x square, x to the power n minus 2 y square. So in that way, if I break this, I will be getting 5 terms. Since x plus iy to the power 4, so n plus 1 number of terms I will be getting. So here we will be getting 5 terms. So if you segregate the real and imaginary part by considering the properties of I, that means square root of I is minus 1, I square equals to minus 1, I cube equals to minus I. So by using that property, if you segregate the real and imaginary part, so this will be the real part, this will be the imaginary part. So that is our u and that is v. So that means this is the real part of w and this is the imaginary part of w. So this is a complex valued complex function. That means the independent variable which you are considering is a complex number, as well as the dependent variable which you are considering again a complex number. So any complex number is mapped to another complex number w. So z is mapped to w. So that is example of complex valued complex function. Is that clear? Have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, the thing that I am going to discuss now is the another part that I have not discussed in the PPT. So, real valued complex function. So, what does it mean? Real valued complex function. So, complex valued complex function means independent variable is a complex number and the dependent variable which you are obtaining is also a complex number. Now, real valued complex function means, actually this means the independent variable which you are considering A is a set of subset of complex numbers, set of complex numbers, and the definition of the function is a real number. That means the independent variable is a complex number. That means independent variable which are picking as the complex numbers, but their definition or their outputs which are obtaining is a real number. That means here complex valued complex function. That means the functional value is also a complex number, that is w, that is real part and imaginary part. But here, although independent variable which we are considering as the complex numbers, but the output of those values corresponding to that function will be the real number. So that's a real valued complex function. That means complex function is providing us the real values corresponding to a complex value. Is that clear? Is that clear or not? Is that clear? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. That means inputs are the complex number, we are putting z, but output we are getting as a real number. If you have any doubts, you could ask me without any hesitation. But if it is clear, just tell me.
Sir, can you repeat? Sir, can you repeat again once?
Okay. In the previous case, which I have discussed, the complex valued complex function, what is the independent variable? Independent variable is a z, so that is a complex number. And what is the dependent variable? Dependent variable is a w, so that is again a complex number. That means inputs and outputs both are complex numbers. So inputs have two parts, real and imaginary part, and output has two parts, the real and imaginary part. So I have given the example also, fz equals to z square, that means w is z to the power 4. That means z is mapped to z to the power 4. So z is obviously a complex number, x plus iy, which can be written as, and z to the power 4, if you put x plus iy whole to the power 4 and separate the real and imaginary part, so the functional value z to the power 4 as real part as well as this as the imaginary part. So this is our u, that is our v. So here the output corresponding to the input z is also a complex number. So that is called as the complex valued complex function. That means inputs are real numbers, complex numbers, and outputs are also complex numbers. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
But here what we are doing, inputs we are considering as the complex numbers. That means we are providing the value z as the input, but output by virtue of that function we are getting as a real number. Say for example, that means f of z is the complex number x plus iy, but the value corresponding to fz, that will be a real number. That means real valued complex function. That means inputs we are taking as a complex number, but output we are obtaining as a real number. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Can you give one example, anyone? If you have not understood, just tell me, and if you have understood, just give me one example. One example means you need to define a function where inputs we are considering as a complex number and outputs we are getting as a real number. Can anyone give me such example? Whatever is coming there.
Modulus.
Sorry?
Modulus.
Yeah, modulus is such kind of function. Why? Because if I take fz equals to mod z, means f of x plus iy is equals to mod z means square root of x square plus y square. So here you can find the output is square root of x square plus y square. So no imaginary value is involved here, no I is here. That means we are considering f of xy, and this is actually giving us the value z, which is a real number, or giving us the value t, which is a real number. Say for example, I am taking z as 1 plus I. So that means this is our x, this is our y. This is x equals to 1 and y equals to also 1. So what will be the value of the function? Functional value will be 1 square plus 1 square.
Root 2.
That means root 2. If I take here minus 3 plus 4i, then say this is our z. So the output will be square root
5.
of 9 plus 16. So this will be 5. So here inputs we are taking as a complex number z. So any value of z we put here, but output will be getting as the real numbers. So this is the example of the real valued complex function. Another example I can provide, that fz equals to real of z. That means this will map to the real. That means if I consider x plus iy, so the output will be x. That means if I take z equals to I, what will be the functional value? Where it will be mapped by virtue of that function?
0.
Because the real part is 0. If I take z equals to minus 5 plus root 7i, then it will be minus 5. So this is an example of the real valued complex function. So what is the significance of that? So in Argand plane we are taking a complex number z, that means the point x comma y. So you know the projection, that means if I take the projection of this with respect to x axis, so I will be getting this point. So the coordinate of this will be x0. That means xy, a complex number, is mapped to its real value only. So this is the significance of this function. That means any point which you are considering as a complex number in the Argand plane is mapped to its corresponding projection. That means with respect to the real axis, so x0. So all these are example of real valued complex function. So here we have already studied two kind of complex functions. A function of complex variable. One is the complex valued complex function, where the inputs and outputs both are complex numbers. Another is the real valued complex function. That means inputs we are considering as the complex numbers, but outputs we are getting as the real number. And I have given the examples also. Is that clear till now? Is everything clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am asking to all of you. So if you have any doubts, without any hesitation, you can ask me. I can repeat this again and again. Anyone?
No, sir, no doubts.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to identify what will be the geometrical significance of function of complex variable. So before that, just I have told that I'll correlate this with respect to your previous knowledges that you have on a function of one real variable and function of two real variables, so that you can identify it very easily. So first we want to just consider what are the geometrical significance of function of one real variable and function of two real variables. So let's say I am considering a function of one real variable, namely y equals to fx. So here the number, this is the independent variable and this is the dependent variable. So since here the number of independent variable is 1, so that is function of one real variable. So together there are two variables, one is the independent variable and another is the dependent variable y. So since there are totally two variables, so we can identify the relationship between the two variables by virtue of a point which we can consider in two-dimensional real plane. So I am considering a two-dimensional real plane, that is x axis, this is the y axis. So I am considering input as x1, so corresponding to that I am getting the output as y1. So the coordinate of this point is x1 comma y1. I am considering this as x2, corresponding to that the output, let's say, is y2. So the point will be x2 comma y2. So this is the output, that is the output. So for x3 I am getting y3, like that. So ultimately, if I want to establish the relationship, so how I could get? So I could join the points. So this point actually provides us the relationship between x and y. This is x, this is y. So if I take this as x, corresponding to this x, the y is this. So in that way, I could identify value of y corresponding to each and every value of x. So by joining them, in general, I could get the equation, that is nothing but the locus will be nothing but the equation of a curve. This curve can be a circle. This curve can be straight line, this curve can be parabola, this curve can be hyperbola. So this curve can be anything, but in general this equation or this relationship represents a curve, because there are totally two variables, one independent, one dependent. So together there are two variables, so we can identify those two variables as any arbitrary point in two-dimensional real plane. So by joining them we could get the locus, which is nothing but the equation of curve in general. So in generally function of one variable represents a curve geometrically. Is that clear? All of you are familiar with that? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to function of two variables. So z equals to fxy. So these are independent variables here, and this is the dependent variable. So since in the function of two real variables, there are totally two independent variable and one dependent variable. So together there are three variables. This is the independent variable and one is the dependent variable. So since there are totally three variables, so we could identify or establish the relationship as a three-dimensional point. So we need to consider a three-dimensional real plane. So that is, let's say x-axis, or this is x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis. So we are taking inputs as a point in two-dimensional xy plane. So this is our input, say x1, y1. This is another input, say x2, comma y2. This is another input, say x3, comma y3. So we are taking any points in the xy plane as inputs. So corresponding to that point, what do we need to do? We need to draw a perpendicular along z direction. So this is z1. So corresponding to this will be z2. Corresponding to this, I will draw the perpendicular, I will be getting z3. So in that way, corresponding to each and every point which we are considering in the xy plane, I can draw a perpendicular towards the z direction. I could get a point, that is, the coordinate of this point will be x1, y1, z1. Coordinate of this point will be x2, y2, z2. Coordinate of this point will be x3, y3, z3, and so on. So by joining those points, I can get the equation in general, which is nothing but the equation of surface. So since there are totally three variables, two independent and one dependent variable, so together there are total three variables. So we could identify the relationship between among those three variables as any point in the three-dimensional real plane. So by joining all those points, I could get the equation of a surface. So this surface can be a surface of sphere, this surface can be a surface of hyperboloid, this surface can be a surface of three-dimensional plane. So anything can be there, but in general it represents a surface. So if I consider this, say consider equation of sphere, you know that x square plus y square plus z square equals to a square. So here z can be written in the form of plus minus a square minus x square minus x. So if I denote this as a function, so corresponding to any value of x, y, say I am taking 1, 0. So I am getting the value of z as a plus minus a. If I take the point 2, 0, I will be getting corresponding point of z. So here, if I take the inputs as x, y and draw the perpendicular along z direction, I will be getting a point x1, y1, z1. So by joining all those points, in general, I will be getting the equation of surface. Is that clear? You have already studied this in multivariable calculus whenever you have studied in first semester. Is that clear? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now my question is, whenever I am considering the function of complex variable, complex valued complex function, f z equals to w. So z and w both are complex numbers, x plus iy equals to u plus iv. So in general, I could write down this function as f of x comma y equals to. So how many total variables are here? Can anyone tell me how many total variables are involved here?
So 4.
Yeah, totally 4 variables are there because z and w both are complex numbers here. So z has 2 parts, that means one real part, one imaginary part. W has 2 parts, one real part, one imaginary part. So totally there are 4 variables. So where 2 are independent variables, 2 are dependent variables. So like the previous cases where there is the number of variable independent variables are getting changed. That means number of independent variable for function of one variable is 1. Number of independent variable for function of 2 real variables are 2. But here also the number of independent variables are 2, but in previous all these cases the number of dependent variable were 1, but here we are getting number of independent dependent variable at 2, that is u and v. So totally there are 4 variables. So if there are 2 variables, I could consider a 2-dimensional plane to identify their relationship. If totally 3 variables are there, I could consider a point in the 3-dimensional plane to identify their relationship. But if there are 4 variables, how we can accommodate them to provide the relationship? Because we can draw up to 3-dimensional plane, we can draw geometrical figure up to 3-dimension reality, but we can't draw a 4-dimensional geometrical figure. So how I could provide the relationship between how we can provide the relationship between the independent and dependent variables here, because totally there are 4 variables. Have you got my question? Was the question clear?
So repeat the question once.
The question is, what we did in the previous cases. So in that case, function of one real variable. So since there are totally 2 variables, one that is 2 variables. So I am taking a 2-dimensional plane. This is the one dimension, this is another dimension. Since 2 variables are there, this is an independent variable, this is a dependent variable. For function of 2 real variables, one dependent variable and 2 independent variables. So I am considering this as the independent axis and this is the dependent axis. So totally 3 variables. But can we draw a 4-dimensional geometrical figure?
Don't know,
because
sir.
because here there are 4 variables. So
Hmm.
how I could incorporate all these 4 variables to provide the relationship, because geometrically there will be a relationship among those 4 variables.
Yes, sir.
But how I can do so? Can anyone provide me any idea? Anything, whatever is coming to your mind. This can be wrong, this can be right, anything. Anyone?
So no idea.
Apart from him, any other?
No, sir, no idea.
Ah. So there are two ways which we could consider here. So what are the two ways? So one thing is that here, sorry, whenever I have given the example, so initially whenever I have defined this, how many variables are there? Here there are two variables, but while I have taken the projection, so it is reduced to one variable. That means while I am taking the projection of any two-dimensional point, I am getting a one-dimensional point, that is x comma 0. Okay, so by taking the projection, I can reduce the number of variables. You know that, because if I take a three-dimensional sphere, let's say, sorry, let's say I am taking a three-dimensional sphere. This is three-dimensional sphere. If I take the projection on xy plane, then what I will be getting? I will be getting one ring shaped thing. That means one circle. So equation of circle is x square plus y square equals to a square. So there are two variables, x and y. So by taking the projection, I can reduce the number of variables. So here also there are total 4 variables: x, y, u, v. So I could take the projection of imaginary geometrical figure on u axis, then it will be only 3 variables. I could take the projection along v axis, then I will be getting only, or v plane, then I will be getting only 3 variables, x, y, v. If I take the projection on u axis, I will be getting x, y, u. So by taking the projection, I can reduce the number of variables. I'll show it later. So by taking the projection, I can reduce the number of variables. So although there are 4 variables, but if I take the projection, so the number of variable can be reduced to 3. So in that way, I could accommodate their relationship in a 3-dimensional plane. That is the one thing. And the second thing is that while I am defining the function of a complex variable, so f z equals to w. So z is here xy, that means x plus iy. W is here u comma v, that means w equals to u plus iv. So what I could consider? I could consider a two-dimensional Argand plane where x is the real axis, y is the imaginary axis. So that is a z Argand plane. So here I am considering UV Argand plane. That means W Argand plane. That means where u is the real axis, v is the imaginary axis. So I am taking any arbitrary point, say z1. z1 will be a two-dimensional point where coordinates will be x1 comma y1. So while I am defining the function f, so f is mapping z1 to some point w1 here. That means which coordinate will be u1 comma v1. I am taking z2 here. It will be mapped to some point w2. I am taking z3 here. It will be mapped to some point w3 by virtue of that function. So by joining those points which we are taking as an independent variable, I will be getting a curve in two-dimensional z Argand plane. So by joining their corresponding images in the w Argand plane, I will be getting another two-dimensional curve in the w Argand plane. So here I could consider that the function of complex variable fz equals to w is mapping a two-dimensional geometrical figure from z plane to w plane. Because z plane is separate, that is the independent plane. Z I am taking arbitrarily. While I am defining the function, so it is mapped to some specific point in the w Argand plane. So by joining the independent variables, I am getting a two-dimensional curve because this is a two-dimensional point. Similarly, by joining its corresponding functional values, I am getting another two-dimensional curve. So I could consider here that the function of complex variable is mapping a two-dimensional curve from one Argand plane to another Argand plane. So I am giving just a simple example, then I think it will be clear. So let us consider a function fz equals to, fz equals to z square. So z square means here fz means x comma y. So z square means x plus iy whole square. So this will be x square plus I square y square plus x iy this. So if we segregate the real and imaginary part, this will be x square, I square means minus 1, so this is y square plus I into 2xy. So that is our u, that is our v. So here fxy is mapped to x square minus y square, that is our u, comma 2xy, that is our v. Is that clear up to this or not? Is that clear till now?
Yes, sir.
If you have any problem anytime, you can
Yes.
you can ask questions by unmuting us. Okay. So here I am taking say z plane. This is z Argand plane. The x axis is the y axis. Sorry. And let's say this is the w Argand plane. The u axis, the v axis. Now I can check z arbitrarily. So z is the independent variable. Independent variable is I can take any value as the value of z, which is the independent variable. So let's say I am taking z as 1 plus I. 1 plus I means x is 1, y is 1. So that is a point 1 1. I am taking, let's say, z equals to 5i. 5i means x0, y5. So that is a point called 0 5. I am taking a point z as minus 2 plus 3i. Minus 2 plus 3i means negative x axis, that is x is minus 2 plus 3. So that will be this sort of thing. Minus 2 3. So while I am defining this function, so that is our uv. So initially I have taken 1 plus I. So the point is 1 1. That means x1 y1. So if x is 1 y is 1, so u will be 0 and v will be x1 y1. So this will be 2. So 1 plus I will be mapped to 0 plus 2i. That means 0 plus 2i means 2i. That means here the point will be 0 comma 2. Next I have taken the point z equals to 5i. Z equals to 5i means x is 0, y is 5. So here u will be x0, y5. So minus 25. And v will be 0, x0. So v will be 0. So it will be mapped to minus 25, 0. So that is the point. Minus 25, 0. Next I have taken say z equals to minus 2 plus 3i. So here x is minus 2, y is 3. So u will be x is 2, so this will be 4 minus 9. So 4 minus 9 means minus 5. And v will be minus 6 minus 12. So minus 5 minus 12. So minus 5 means like minus 5 minus 12. That means negative v axis. So minus 5 minus 12 like that. So in that way I can take any arbitrary value of z here in z Argand plane corresponding to that by virtue of this function. I will be getting points here. So if I join them, so this is the locus, and if I join their coordinate their images here, this will be the locus. So this is arbitrarily because this curve can join this point via many paths. So just I am taking this arbitrarily. So more I will take points, so more it will be appropriate. So here the independent variables I am taking along this path, that is a two-dimensional curve. Corresponding to that curve, by virtue of that function, I am getting its image as this curve. So here I could consider that is the independent plane, that is a dependent plane. So the function of complex variable which is defined by this is mapping a two-dimensional curve from z plane to a two-dimensional curve in w plane. Is it okay? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is actually the geometrical significance. Otherwise, the projection thing that I have told, for that I am giving one example. So projection means there are two concepts of functions. One is a single valued complex function as a multi-valued complex function. Multi-valued complex function means we are taking only one value as the input. So one particular value for z. For that I am getting one particular value of z square. And multi-valued function means I am taking a particular or unique value of z. For that I am getting more than one value of the function w. That means functional value we are getting more than one. So the independent variable we are taking uniquely, but for the single valued function I am getting the output as a single value, but for that multi-valued function I am getting the output as more than one. So just I am giving one example. So whenever you will be studying how to draw curves through MATLAB, you will be able to know that you will be able to draw different curves. But this is a MATLAB code. By virtue of that I can draw these two curves. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the curve since there are 4 variables, while we are considering the 4 variables, so that's why in order to draw the curve in 3 dimension, I need to reduce the number of variables. So how we could reduce? By taking the modulus. You know that if I consider modulus of x, that means if I take the value of x as 1, the value will be 1. If I take the value of x as minus 1, the value will be 1. So by taking the modulus, I can reduce the value. So ABS, abs means this is the modulus. So while we are doing the MATLAB code, so the modulus is written over by this. So I'm taking the mod of this. So mod of z to the power half means it is reduced to 3 variables. So this is a 3 dimensional. This is the x plane, y plane, this is the z plane, z axis. So this is a 3 dimensional curve. Similarly, if fz equals to mod of z whole square, then I'm getting this curve. So why single valued and multi-valued? If you just, I'm enlarging it, yeah. So if you consider any point here in the xy plane, this is the x axis, this is the y axis. So if you take any point in the xy plane, so corresponding functional value will be getting by taking the perpendicular direction in the z direction. So here if you take this point and take a perpendicular direction, you will be getting only one functional value. Here if you take a point, if you draw the perpendicular, then you will be getting only one point. But here for z equals to 0, whenever x is 0 and y is 0, so if you draw the perpendicular throughout that string portion, you will be getting more than 1 point as a functional value. So this is your input. If you draw the perpendicular, this is the functional value, this is the functional value, this is the functional value. So for x0, y0, you will be getting more than one functional value throughout this string region, a string portion. That's why this is the example of multi-valued function, because I am taking the value of x as 0, y as 0. But for that, whenever I am considering z to the power half, I am getting more than one functional value throughout that path. Because if I draw the perpendicular, it will intersect this curve at more than 1 point. But here if you take any point and draw a perpendicular, you will be getting only unique point. Okay, so that's why this is the example of multi-valued function and this is the example of single valued function. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So repeat again once.
Which one?
Multi-valued one.
Okay, multi-valued one. So here if you take any point here, say, can you see the see my finger tip here?
Yes, sir.
And how you will be getting the functional values? If you draw the perpendicular throughout the z direction. Okay,
Yes, sir.
now if you draw the perpendicular here, it will intersect that curve at more than 1 point throughout that string region, a string portion. Because here if you draw a perpendicular, you will be getting only, it will intersect at only 1 point in that curve. But here if you take this point and draw a perpendicular, it will intersect at more than 1 point, because if you draw the perpendicular, it will be the functional value, it will be the functional value, it will be the functional value. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why here this is a multi-valued function, not at all these points, because if you take a point, you will be getting only one functional value. If you get this point, if you draw the perpendicular, you will be getting only one functional value. But at this point, because at all this point, it will not a single valued function, because if you consider only this point, it will be a multi-valued function. So the entire graph, we can't consider this as a single valued function, because entirely the graph is not a single valued graph. So this is the example of, that's why a multi-valued function. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's all for today's class. So I'll try to share the PPT in the Google Classroom, or after next class I'll be sharing it, because lots of other things are left here. So after discussing all these things, I'll be sharing it in the Google Classroom. So in the meanwhile, you can follow the books which I have shared, ebooks which I have shared, 3 ebooks I have shared. So you can follow anything, any book for this part. And if you can't recognize from which portion or which chapter you will be studying, then you can ping in the Google Classroom. Then I'll be answering there. Okay, so let me take your attendance manually first. Then I'll be providing you the exam codes. Then you will be giving the exam through IMCRQ. So before that, just let me take your attendance manually. Roll number 1,
Present, sir.
2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6,
Present, sir.
7,
Yes, sir.
8.
Present, sir.
Just 9,
Yes, sir.
10. Mayank Kumar Pandey.
Sir, I'm 9.
Okay, yeah, I am asking for 10. Oh, sorry, Mayank Kumar Pandey
Ah.
9. Sorry, 10, 11. Prerna Sinha.
Present, sir.
12. Ritik Arya. 13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, 12%. Sir, my mic is not working, so I am unable to speak.
12 give. Okay, just wait. I am sharing the IMCRP code. So, so this is the exam code and this is the link. So just click the link and give your enrollment ID and the exam code, and you can give the class test. So just someone please check once and let me know whether you can access it or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so thank you all for attending today's class. So I'll be meeting the next week. Thank you all.